The word today, and we're dealing with the man and the woman in the mirror. The man and the woman in the mirror. It's the text to talk, to take away. Here's the text. It's Luke 22, 56, 57. You already know it. Let me give you the context of what's going on. Here it is. They have arrested Jesus. They are taking him from Caiaphas' house to Herod, to back and forth. And in the midst of all of this back and forward, Peter is following from afar. He's following, he's checking out all that Jesus is going through. And in Luke 22, 56, 57 tells us this, that as he was following from afar, checking out what was happening, a servant girl looked at him closely and says, "You are the man that has been following him. Aren't you the man that is following him?" He denied it. Went on a little further, and somebody else, a man, came up and asked him. And then the third time they asked him, "You are that person." And Peter denied it. Now, we often look at the fact that Peter denied being connected to Jesus. But if you look at the text closely, what he first denied was being who he was. He denied his very being. They said, "You are Peter. You are that guy." And he says, "I'm not. I'm not." That tells me something. Whenever you deny who you are, there's going to be problems. And denying who you are denies the Christ in you. He denied who he was. He could not just deny Jesus. He had to deny Peter as well. And as a result of denying Peter, he denies the Jesus whom he has followed. On yesterday, I dealt with the fact that you got to save yourself. You cannot destroy, you cannot reject who you are. And I gave the example of the three Hebrew boys who wore their customary garments even in the furnace. Typically, they would have been stripped. They wore them in the furnace, and their garments were not burned because their identity, they held on to who they were. I have found that many times, if you're not careful, you will deny who you are. So therefore, this morning, I want to talk further. Let's drill deeper into the fact, the man and the woman in the mirror. How do I hold on to who that is? The first thing you've got to grab a hold of in the talk to the text is this. I got to realize I'm created in the image of God. I'm created in the image of God. And to deny me is to deny God in me. There's an awesome, it's just a wonderful little picture. I posted it in my social media of this little girl. This is just the cutest little button you've ever want to see. You go to my Instagram and you'll see this little picture of the little girl, and she has a little t-shirt on. And on her t-shirt, she says, "My VP looks like me." Now, she's a pecan tan little girl with wavy little hair. And she says on her t-shirt, "My VP looks like me." If you can't see it, you can't be it. And if you can't see the God in you already, you looking to other people to affirm you. You got to see the God in you. So the first thing is, when you look in the mirror, know that to hold on to who you are, that you are created in the image of God. Here's the second thing that I need you to get. Our being and isness, ISNESS, is wrapped up and tied up in Jesus. Paul said when he was he was in the midst of all of the various gods that they had built, Mars Hill. And after he said all of this, he says, "In him we live, move, and have our very being." I can't deny me because my isness, I be in Jesus. I be in Jesus. And that is who I am, and that is who I will always be, and I cannot deny that. I'm created in his image. My isness and my being is in Jesus. Here's the third thing. You are enough. You are enough. You got to grab a hold of that. Come on, Matthew. In the first third chapter or so in Matthew, we have the story of Jesus being tempted by Satan. We'd like to look at the stones being turned to bread. We like to look at being on the top of the temple and jumping off. We like to look at all of those kinds of things, the worship piece. We like to look at all of that. But at the core of what Satan is tempting Jesus, he says, if you be the Son of God, then do this, that, or the other. In other words, prove who you are. And I'm telling you, there are people who always want to make you prove who you are. Wait a minute. I don't have to prove anything to you. When I look in the mirror and see who I am, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I do not have to prove anything to you. And many times when we feel like we have to prove ourselves is when we make the mistake. I am enough. Take me or leave me, I'm enough. I am enough. Take me or leave me. So, what's your takeaway? It's going to be a little long. I got to share my own personal story. When I was in about the 4th or the 5th grade, during the 60s, my mother had made us go to an integrated school. During this time, it wasn't a cool thing to call yourself black. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. And I remember that in the classroom, I denied the fact that I was black. One of the teachers, it was a team teaching situation, one of the teachers was black. I could see on her face the total disappointment when I said to the white teacher that. She took me aside and affirmed my blackness. She said, not to beat me up, she said, you are black. It's okay for you to be black. Don't ever let me hear you say that you're not that again. I'll never forget it. It brings back that moment to this day. In that moment, I got my superpower. I got my superpower. So your takeaway this morning is your superpower doesn't kick in until you accept how the superpower made you. When I accepted how God Almighty made me, there's a reason why I got I'm black all the time on my t-shirt today. Because the fact is, that's when I got my superpower. You need some superpower? When then accept the fact that your superpower made you. Look in the mirror and say, I'm enough. I got my being, and I'm created in his image. The Lord be with you today. May his face shine upon you and give you peace. I don't care if 71 million people voted against Biden. I believe that we're up against some stuff, and we better understand who we are. God bless you. Got more manna for you tomorrow morning. Tune in and share the manna with somebody else.